The most important meal of the day, second breakfast.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another Second Breakfast podcast. I'm Andy Roth alongside Phil Duvall. Say hi, Phil.
Oh, hello. I didn't see you there.
We've been talking for like 20 minutes.
Just sitting in front of my computer with headphones on. Just
hoping
connected to the...
hoping a podcast wanders by that you could do.
I so wish that like I could just start so many things, like reading a book, smoking a pipe, and then looking up and going, oh, hello. Like close the book and
Right.
start talking.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. Like if you get pulled over.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's brilliant. Sir. And I'm sitting there. I've got the book. I've got the pipe ready to go. Sir. Oh, hello. Roll down the window. That would be
Afternoon,
amazing.
officer.
Afternoon, officer. Just in the middle of Charles Dickens. How can I be of service to you, sir?
Apparently it
I've
is
been
the
sitting
best
here
and the
reading
worst
quite-
of times.
I've been sitting here reading for quite some time, sir. I didn't realize. How could I have been speeding? I've been knee deep in this wonderful book.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Okay, Andy.
Phil.
Qu'est-ce que c'est? What are we doing? That's not really what qu'est-ce que c'est means. I mean, but that's okay. What are we doing?
We are doing the second half of a gauntlet sent by a dear friend of the podcast, Joshua Edwards, who I quite enjoy, even though all signs point to him being a Cubs fan. Nobody's perfect. It's fine. Yeah.
What's it like now that you're not even in their division anymore?
It's weird. It's weird that my hate for them hasn't lessened. It's weird. That's weird. Yeah.
When I stopped being a Red Sox fan and became an Angels fan, I was like, oh, I still hate the Yankees exactly the same amount.
Yeah. It's
Like, I don't care at all about the Red Sox anymore.
Yeah.
But like, well, except for I care about the ones that I used to care about. Like,
Sure.
I love Pedro Martinez and Kevin Youkilis and I love Jason Varitek. I actually saw a Jason Varitek license plate the other day. Did I send you a picture of this?
You didn't, but I'm sad. Please do.
I will. And when I saw it, I took a picture of it and I stopped and I was like, oh, Tech, I love you.
Nice.
But I don't care about the Sox anymore, but I still hate the Yankees. So I understand.
It's the Yankees. I mean, I wonder if that would have been the same if like you used to be a White Sox fan and so you hated the Tigers. Would you still hate the Tigers even though you're not a White Sox fan? You know what I mean?
It is a fair point. You make a fair point. I hope so, because I think hate is stronger than love. I think that's what it says in the Bible. No?
That's what I've based my...
I'm preaching on Sunday. It must better be true.
It's what I've based my entire raison d'etre on. So, you know, I will say this. I don't think I would have come to that answer so quickly if not for the fact that I'm now a Duke fan, which is basically...
Oh my
I mean, they're the Yankees of everything that isn't the Yankees, right? Like, we're the Yankees of college basketball. We're the Yankees of lacrosse scandals. We're the Yankees of a whole bunch of things. We're the Yankees of popped collars and
Let me tell you what. So when
bros, you know.
Sure. You remember when I lived in North Carolina?
I do.
So my first March Madness in North Carolina.
Was it mad?
And it was March, and there was madness.
Sure.
Walking into a bar, because I worked as a waiter, so I had weird hours.
Sure.
So walking into like my normal local bar and this was not when I drank. I wasn't drinking at this time, but I did smoke cigars, and you were allowed to smoke. TJ and I would go play Golden Tee, the video golf game, at the bar in the middle of the day because no one was there.
Right.
So I walk in the middle of the day in March on a weekday, and it's packed to the gills.
Wall-to-wall people.
What the hell? Why aren't these people at work? And it's like March Madness. I was like, this is crazy. What?
Work?
It was. It was beautiful. You're crazy. I love you, but you're crazy. So anyways, I was told that I had to choose between Duke and Carolina.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, describe them to me. And they did. And I was like, oh, Duke. And everyone's like, no, Duke is the snobby, preppy, like upper crust place. And I was like, right, that one. That's the one I like. That's the thing. No, but the Tar Heels are the people's choice. And I was like, no, I get it. No, I get it completely.
Thank you for helping me.
Right, I am choosing the elitist, snobby choice, without regret or question. So
awesome.
Here we are, go Blue Devils. So when you got into Duke, I was psyched.
Me too. Me too. That's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
I love every bit of that story.
We're just
So
avoiding the real work.
it's true. It's true. So Phil, do you want to run down for those who not only have not experienced a gauntlet but must have not listened to or seen our last episode, which was part 1 of this gauntlet? What is a gauntlet, Phil?
Oh my gosh. So it's a very arbitrary thing.
Yeah.
We came up with this name. So basically, our friend Josh wrote us one time. We had a mailbag when we were doing our show more often, and people would regularly send us letters. And he here, I have a question for you. And it was like a 10-part question with multiple choice answers. And we had to pick one.
Yeah.
And I was like, this isn't a mailbag. This is like one of us said, this is a gauntlet.
Yeah.
And so we just called it, he threw down the gauntlet. We picked it up. So although I was introduced to Gauntlet from the Nintendo game when I was a kid,
Totally.
but that's a whole other story. For those that I guess were like Legend of Zelda was too cool, we went for Gauntlet. But anyways, we've been doing it ever since. Different people have written in, and it is a series of multiple choice questions where we're given options for each thing, and we have to pick one. It doesn't matter. You just have to pick one. Those are the rules. And sometimes the choices are excruciating. So last week, Josh sent us a gauntlet, and it was exceedingly long. And the first half, it was all Star Wars. So we thought we were going to get through the whole gauntlet. We didn't. We stopped at the end of the Star Wars questions, and the rest are non-Star Wars questions. And we're about to do a non-Star Wars, what looks almost to be an 80s themed gauntlet.
Yes,
in fact, I'm going to go ahead.
This.
There's one. It looks like 1 or 2 minor exceptions, but for those 2 minor exceptions, I'm going to call this an 80s gauntlet.
Sure. Yes, I like it. I like where your head's at.
So Andy and I are about to go through. Andy's going to read off the questions because he's generally the gauntlet master, generally, and he's going to read off the questions, and then we're going to talk about our choices, and we're going to argue and agree with each other and slap each other on the back and. Anyway.
It's true.
And then we'll move on.
It's like Meet the Press, but with more 80s movies.
I will say this before we start.
Please.
It is exactly like that.
Exactly.
More so than I'd like to admit. I don't know what that doesn't. I literally just said a thing. Absolutely nothing. 2, looking at the questions. And Josh, this is going to be a very fun gauntlet. Josh, the author of this, and by the way, all people are encouraged to write into us these types of multiple choice gauntlet questions,
or just mailbag questions, one-off things.
That's right. If you have a question for us that you just want us to talk about on the air, we're glad to do it because that's the kind of people we are.
Yeah.
We have no lives and we want to do this.
Truth.
But this oftentimes these things are really difficult because the choices are like Sophie's Choice choices.
Yeah.
As in, which accent will Meryl Streep choose? They're all so precious. But but this one is not difficult for me at all, which doesn't make it less fun. But I have definitive answers for each one, gut reactions, and that makes me really happy.
Yes.
So let's breeze through this puppy, shall we?
Yes, indeed. One last thing, and you touched on it, but I want to be explicit about it. The thing about it being a multiple choice test, as it were. Let's say your favorite Steven Spielberg movie is, E.T., right? If the gauntlet question is what's the best Steven Spielberg movie, or what's your favorite Steven Spielberg movie, and it lists Duel, Jaws, and Jurassic Park, you cannot choose E.T.
Right.
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 Well, if that were the case, I would bring it up. I would bring it up oh, by the way, my actual favorite is this, but of these, boom.
Right. Right. But of these choices.
Yes. So here we go. The vaguely 80s movie themed.
I'd be like Tintin.
Really?
Tintin's my favorite Spielberg movie.
Warhorse. Is it Warhorse?
I haven't seen Warhorse yet. I had it on my DVR.
I need to.
I had Warhorse in Munich on my DVR for 2 years, and then between the two of them took up 3 hours of space, and I was like, sorry guys, you'll be back on cable. You'll be back on cable again soon.
There you go.
I've recorded Munich 2 separate times. Never watched it.
It is a more enjoyable watch than you think it will be because it's
that's good.
It's interesting.
My assumption is that it will not be enjoyable. So.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, it's not. I wouldn't call it a romp, but
not a date movie.
Not a date movie. No. Well, I mean, let's not forget I'm the guy who took a girl on our third date to see Brokeback Mountain in the theater. So my definition of date movie is
It's slightly different.
you mispronounced absurd and stupid, but that's okay.
Spit on your hand during the. Never mind. Okay, let's
Wow.
do this.
Okay, commencing our vaguely 80s movie themed gauntlet. Name the best actress. Elizabeth Shue,
Hmm.
Jennifer Grey,
Hmm.
Molly Ringwald,
Hmm.
Leah Thompson.
Aw.
Yeah, right?
My buddy Wes has such a huge crush on Leah Thompson.
Why wouldn't you?
Could
Is
you
there
be a
someone
bad
here you don't have a big crush on? Really?
I don't have a big crush on Jennifer Grey. I don't dislike her. I don't have a big crush on her. I was introduced to Jennifer. How were you introduced to Jennifer Grey?
Dirty Dancing.
Okay, I was introduced to her through Ferris Bueller's Day Off,
Okay.
and she was so awful. I mean, she was a good
No,
actor.
That's fair. That's
But
fair.
she was such a mean bigger sister that I was like, when I saw her play Sweet and Wonderful, I was like, no, you're doing a good job, but it doesn't matter, honey. I already know you're real quality.
You also, though, you're discounting the impact that Doc Hollywood had.
That wasn't her.
Was it not?
No.
Oh, that was some random woman who has never been in anything
Rando
else.
chick.
Rando
who is
chick.
glorious and beautiful, and I had a huge crush on her. And that movie was PG-13,
totally.
but it still showed her topless.
Totally.
And so I was with my parents, and it was awkward, but
Totally.
also totally amazing.
You're right. I'm sorry. Oh, and by the way,
Looking down at the popcorn, but like looking out of the corner of my eye.
Totally.
Oh,
Folks,
man.
as this is an 80s movie themed gauntlet, there's going to be discussions of female nudity in the movies.
Because that was all movies in the 80s.
Because that was movies in the 80s. So, and you know what?
That's why Disney movies were so awkward.
Okay, moving on. Oh god, I need
Andy.
This is what it says. I need to watch Doc Hollywood again.
Yes.
My answer is Elizabeth Shue.
It's the only answer, Andy.
Yeah. I mean,
It's the only answer, Andy.
I mean, Leaving Las Vegas. Right?
Adventures in Babysitting plus Leaving Las Vegas equals that's literally could be the only two movies she ever made, and we wouldn't even. And when we don't even have to talk about The Saint.
Yeah.
We need to talk about the fact that I mean, because of Adventures in Babysitting, it's like the opposite of Ferris Bueller and Jennifer Grey. Like, I'm in love with her forever.
It's true. That's true.
I'm in love with her forever.
Thor is not a homo. Thor is not a homo. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll tell Chris that you.
Vincent D'Onofrio, by the way. I love Elizabeth Shue. I loved her in Leaving Las Vegas. I love it's hard to talk about this because we're talking about actors from when we grew up. Like, our burgeoning sort of interest in women plays a big part in our choices.
That's true.
Molly Ringwald was such a huge, bright, shining star for such a brief period of time, but it was an important period of time.
Yes.
So she's great. She's all four of these women phenomenal.
Yes.
Leah Thompson, I never got into her sitcom. My biggest movie for her would be she did a sitcom Caroline in the City.
Oh yes, I actually watched that somewhat religiously, and yet fine.
She's good. She is very talented. She's very talented. She's of the four the one who's gotten the most work and probably like the most consistent.
That's true.
But I just think Elizabeth Shue, like, I think she's a star. Like, I think she's got star quality that she never like.
Yeah, it just sort of never.
Unreal.
Yes, and it just sort of never fully happened.
But whenever she shows, even though she has an Oscar, but when she shows up for something, it's like I'm all in on this person. Yep. I'm all in on this person.
Yep.
I just get the sense that she's all there. It's really beautiful.
Yes. Yes, I am such a fan of hers. I do want to throw some love to the other few because Molly Ringwald, you cannot she didn't win, by the way. She didn't win the Oscar.
Really?
Really. Cage won the Oscar. She was nominated. She didn't win.
Oh, you're right, I guess. Then who won the Oscar?
I don't stand by.
No, it's okay. Keep talking. Tell me what you're going to say. Don't get distracted. I will look it up.
So you cannot tell the story. I'll go so far as this. You cannot tell the story of why we love movies. You cannot tell this. Yeah, and I mean you and me, but I could extrapolate that to anyone of our generation. But I'll stick with you and me. You cannot tell the story of why we love movies. Why we are doing what we're doing right now. Why we why we feel them so in our bones without telling the story of John Hughes.
Well said.
And John Hughes is not John Hughes without Molly Ringwald.
That's right.
You know, and so there's
You're right.
there's something really important there, I think, and uh, Jennifer Grey, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and Dirty Dancing. That's a career. I mean, that's a career.
No,
right?
yeah, sure.
And
Sure.
and Leah Thompson, you can't tell the story. I mean, I will go this far. I won't extend it to you, but feel free to. You can't tell the story of why I love movies without telling the story of Back to the Future. You just can't.
Sure.
You know, and so it doesn't hurt me to choose Elizabeth Shue because she is awesome and because Adventures in Babysitting, I still remember seeing that in the movie theater with my dad, and he thought he was going to hate it because he thought it was like a low-rent, like
Sure.
80s teen sex comedy. And it is so not that. It is.
And depressingly no sex in it at all.
It's true. That's true.
But
So, yes.
here we go.
So, Elizabeth Shue.
Everything you said is correct. I agree. I also want to throw love to Leah Thompson for Some Kind of Wonderful with Eric
Yes.
Stoltz and
Yes.
Mary Stuart Masterson.
Yes.
Phenomenal movie. And Elias Koteas is in that movie. And I think that guy who plays the jerk in All the Things is in that movie. Oh, man. He plays Brad Pitt's brother in River Runs Through It, the good brother.
Craig Sheffer.
I think he's the snotty guy. I think.
Okay.
I have to look it up, but that movie's fantastic.
Sure.
I love that movie. That's a classic. But Elizabeth Shue. Oh, by the way, Susan Sarandon won for Dead Man Walking.
Oh, sure. God.
So,
boy,
yeah.
that's a tough category.
That year, yeah, because and Sharon Stone was nominated for Casino that year.
Right?
So those three, I didn't look at the whole thing. I just remember that from memory. I don't remember who the other two were. Actor, Sean Penn was nominated for Dead Man Walking, and Nick Cage won for Leaving Las Vegas.
Right.
Mira Sorvino won for Mighty Aphrodite, Best Supporting Actress.
So
I know.
good.
And Kevin Spacey won for Usual Suspects, and that was the same year Seven came out. Kevin Spacey was at what John Doe or whatever his name is in that.
Right.
Isn't it John Doe or something like
Yes.
that, or John Smith or whatever?
Yep.
And Verbal Kint in the same year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Welcome to Kevin Spacey.
Right.
Like boom, beautiful.
You tell me, Phil, if Craig Sheffer was the bad guy in 1987, Some Kind of Wonderful, his character's name was Hardy Jens. You tell me if he was the
Of course, it was Craig
snot.
Sheffer. Who else would it be? I bet he went to Duke. And
God,
I rooted for it.
God, I hope so. Okay.
All right, let's do the next one.
Name the best actor. Just 3 this time. Charlie Sheen, Patrick Dempsey, Robert Downey Jr.
This is. Do you want to do this one together? 1, 2, 3.
Robert
Downey Jr.
Yes,
Right.
yes, it's true.
Look,
It's true.
Josh, you're out of your element. You don't mean to be. I get what. See, now if he wrote like who was the best actor in the 80s,
Yeah.
still might be Robert Downey Jr.
Still might be.
But there would be a larger conversation to be had.
Yes.
Robert Downey Jr. It's not just that he's a great like pop star at this point.
Yeah.
For lack of a better term, I don't mean musically, obviously, but pop movie star. Well, I want to make sure people know that I know what I mean when I say that.
I mean, who knows what these stars do in like Japan? He's probably huge. He's probably a huge K-pop star or something. You know.
I just when he got to a point where he was basically the highest paid leading man and in the through Iron Man and Avengers, and was at the top of the world. To me, it was a really significant moment because it was a time when the person who was the most famous actor in the world and most sought after also happened to be one of the best.
Yes.
I think his skills are. I mean, he has a very specific skill. He has a very specific way of presenting himself. He's not exactly a chameleon,
right?
But I think he is a phenomenal presence on film. Charlie Sheen had his moments, but I'll be honest, I never took Charlie Sheen seriously.
Okay.
I never took him seriously.
Fair.
I'm going to throw this out there. You ready? And this will foreshadow a later question.
Okay.
but in the choice between the brothers, I was an Emilio Estevez guy.
Me too.
No qualms. Okay.
Me too. No.
And then Patrick Dempsey, he was in Loverboy and Can't Buy Me Love. I recommend these things highly to you. Loverboy is the one where he's the pizza man / pimp, or not pimp,
Gigolo.
Gigolo,
Yes.
Gigolo pizza man.
Yep.
And Can't Buy Me Love is a glorious film. But I'm not
agreed.
but I think it's Robert Downey Jr.
It is, and you said all the reasons why. I mean, but for those of you who know him as Iron Man, I mean, his
Watch
Chaplin, Weird Science, right? Like
I've never seen Less Than Zero, but I mean that was one of his kind of coming out
yes,
roles. Like that was a big deal.
Soap Dish.
Oh my God, I love Soap Dish. Soap Dish is secretly one of the best movies of our lifetime.
Yes.
It's so funny.
Yes.
He's so good in that movie. That's the movie with Kathy Najimy, where he's the producer and he's standing next to her and he's like, "You're fired," and she's like, "Oh my God," and he goes, "Just kidding," and he just turns around and walks away. And you're like, it was. I didn't do well at all, but his timing is just so impeccable.
Sure.
It's just impeccable.
Sure.
Oh, he's so good in that movie, Soap Dish.
Indeed.
Elizabeth Shue's in Soap Dish.
That's right.
Full circle, people.
By the way, Julie Warner is Doc Hollywood.
Has she been in anything else besides Doc Hollywood? The answer is SS Minnow, James.
The SS Minnow, James. Yeah. So sorry. So also a little scene movie, movie that I just love. Heart and Souls.
Oh, he's so good in that movie.
He's so sweet in that.
Alfred Woodard's in that.
And who's the love interest? Elizabeth Shue.
She's in so much more than I remember. I love you, Elizabeth Shue.
Right.
I was at a restaurant in Venice once on Abbot Kinney Boulevard, and Elizabeth Shue walked in, and I was like, "There's Elizabeth Shue." And then I went to the bathroom and made sure I looked okay.
Good.
I didn't look okay.
But you got to check.
I think she was there with her husband. The whole thing was really not the way I planned it.
Sure. That's fair. So, Patrick Dempsey, I do want to point out he has had a far, if you watch his monologue at the end of Can't Buy Me Love.
Oh man.
You would not expect for this guy to still be getting steady work decades later.
Are you saying his monologue isn't good at the end of Can't Buy Me Love, Andy Roth?
I'm saying it's glorious, but it's very, this is the end of an 80s movie.
Hey, he was a man of his time, Andy Roth.
Agreed. But how good is he? How good is he in Enchanted? Right?
He is. You know what? You're right. He's lovely in Enchanted.
Right.
He is.
Yes. And
you're right.
To a nod to the one show, even though she kind of hates it now, that my girlfriend watches religiously, Grey's Anatomy. He's McDreamy. Like, that is who he is.
I don't think anyone who watches Grey's Anatomy loves it anymore.
No.
Yeah, I think they watch it like
yes,
like
true.
with this weird anger, but like they can't. It's very strange.
All of that's true. And I also like the thing about Charlie Sheen is, I feel like he's secretly unbelievably talented and we'll never know it. I really do. I
don't think it's a secret. I just don't think he's got the discipline to make it work, and he's had demons and problems. He's not bad at what he does.
All I'm going to say is this: Platoon, Wall Street, 8 Men Out, Major League, and Hot Shots.
I forgot about Major League. Okay, you know what, Andy? You blew the roof off this thing. I had him in third place, and he's going up to second with a bullet, Andy.
Yeah, I think he is. I think he's in second for me too.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Hot Shots, glorious.
Yes.
Major League is one of the most important movies of my childhood.
Sure.
It was like the first rated R movie that I just like watched religiously. That's not true. I had Stripes memorized, but okay, it was one of those rated R movies that it really shaped my understanding of comedy in film. Major League was one of those movies.
Yes.
Hot Shots was always, to me, Naked Gun, like, light. But that's okay.
I agree.
He's so funny in it.
Yeah, that's true.
And he's great. And then the other one you said, and I love Men at Work with him and Emilio Estevez.
Yes.
Right here in my little heart. My heart's over on this side. And then I'm trying to remember what other one. Okay, full disclosure, I've never seen Wall Street and I've never seen Eight Men Out.
Oh,
I know.
I mean,
Andy,
Wall Street's a good
I
movie.
I don't care about Wall Street, but I will see Eight Men Out at some
will
point.
love.
John Sayles.
Oh my God.
It's Michael Strathern's in it.
David.
David. Him too. His brother David. Michael Strathern and his brother David. David Strathern's in it.
D.B.
Sweeney. D.B. Sweeney. No,
Michael Rooker.
John Sayles in it. No, listen. I'm in. I just haven't seen. Isn't John Cusack in that?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No. 1980s John Cusack. By the way, if 1980s John Cusack was on this list, I would be so confused.
Right. It's true.
I think Robert Downey Jr. is just a phenomenal talent.
I agree with you.
Let's move on to the next one.
We remain in accord. Rank the following. Can't Buy Me Love.
Ranking, by the way.
What?
I love ranking.
Me too. Can't Buy Me Love, Just One of the Guys, and Lucas.
Go ahead.
This is easy for me.
Go ahead.
Lucas, Can't Buy Me Love, Just One of the Guys.
Okay. Do you want me to just tell you my rank?
Yeah, and then we'll talk about it.
Same exact order as listed. Can't Buy Me Love, Just One of the Guys. Lucas in dead last, Andy Roth. Lucas in dead last.
Sure.
I'll tell you why.
Because your heart has died?
What heart? I didn't watch it growing up.
Fair enough.
So
Charlie Sheen! Charlie Sheen is in that, and he is wonderful.
See? I gotta stop. I gotta give Charlie Sheen a break. He just has lived too long. He's outlived his usefulness in society.
You either die the hero, or you see yourself live, or you live long enough to see yourself become
a villain, right?
True. Yeah,
we know what he chose.
We do.
Can't Buy Me Love was the first movie I ever saw in a drive-in theater.
Wow.
With my brother, who snuck me in the back of his 4Runner with a blanket covering me.
This is what I miss not having a brother.
And then he and his girlfriend made out and then passed out in the back while I watched the whole movie by myself. So it was an important bonding experience.
That might actually be the best possible scenario for you in that particular instance. I'm just going to throw that out there.
It was amazing. It was double featured with Three Men and a Baby, but we didn't watch that. We came in at the very end.
Well, that's a little disappointing, but sure.
Yeah, in retrospect, at the time, it was fine with me.
Sure.
Can't Buy Me Love. So that's that, and I love it. And it was like what I thought high school was going to be like, which is probably why I was ready to hate high school.
Sure.
Which incidentally I did. Just One of the Guys I saw way too many times.
Sure.
Also Naked Breasts.
And
a white guy and a white nerdy guy who's obsessed with James Brown. I loved that little. It was one of those things. It was right out of a screenwriting class.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a particularly great movie.
Sure.
But it has a deeper place in my heart. Lucas could be the best movie on the list. It's got the girl from Goonies.
Sure. Carrie Green.
It's got Corey Haim.
Yep.
And it's got Charlie Sheen.
It's got Winona Ryder.
Oh, I love her so much.
I know you
do. It's probably the best. It's probably the best of them.
Yeah.
But I don't. But it's not my. But I can't. It doesn't.
No, I get it.
It's not there.
Also, your heart has died. So explaining mine.
Yeah.
The difference between Can't Buy Me Love and Just One of the Guys, for me, is that I saw Can't Buy Me Love sooner. I don't know if it actually came out first. I'm just not sure. I don't think it did. I think Just One of the Guys came out in like '84, and Can't Buy Me Love came out a couple years later. Just One of the Guys, I mean, that was the moment I began puberty. like that was the moment, right?
Sure.
It's not a great movie. It's a better movie than it's. I'll give it this. It's a better movie than it could have been. The Terry Heiser, Joyce Heiser, whatever, something. The main character, the girl who plays the main, who disguises herself as a guy. She is actually really good.
She really is.
Like she's really good.
Quite good. She's so good. She just looks like a vaguely unattractive boy, and it turns out she's actually a beautiful woman.
Yes.
And she does a good job.
Yes.
I buy it.
Clayton Rohrer, whoever his her love interest, the romantic lead.
The dorky.
he is. Yeah,
He's great.
he's great, and he's not a typical. Even for the '80s, when you had people like geeky Patrick Dempsey, not hubba hubba Patrick Dempsey, being leading men, he was a weird, unconventional choice.
On
Even
purpose.
then.
Oh, totally. He
Yes,
was an outsider.
yes.
I want to go back and watch it for its gender politics and like try to figure out like what it says about transgenderism, sexuality, homosexuality, which it doesn't
Sure.
officially say anything about any of those
Right,
things.
right.
It's just an 80s comedy. But there's there's a lot going on at the surface.
With an epic boob shot at the end. I mean, let's be honest. It's
Epic.
epic.
It's really important. Do you remember the cover of the video cassette box?
Yes, I do.
With her holding the volleyballs in front of her in the gym?
Yes.
Yep, me too.
Yep.
That's all I'm trying to say.
Lucas.
I'm trying to say.
Lucas, it is absolutely the best movie of the three. It is people forget how good Corey Haim was.
Oh man.
Like he
fell apart so fast.
So fast.
But he was great. He was
so talented. Like actually talented. And Lucas, I will say, is his best performance. It is so sweet and such a quiet little movie that works on every single level. That he is. I will never forget. I don't even remember Cary Green's character's name. Melissa, let's say, right?
Right.
Or let's call her Carrie, right? And because that's the actress' name, and that's
her name.
Yeah, I'll call you Phil.
It'll make it
because
it'll make it a lot easier. I just call you the thing that you called.
So I'll never forget. This is a line from Roger Ebert's review, and I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it verbatim or anything. But he's like, he finds out her name is Carrie, and he like hugs himself because he didn't realize until that moment that it was the most beautiful sound in the world. And it's at that moment of life, and this is another thing he says in the review, that like you don't fall in love with somebody because they're right for you or even because they're attractive. You fall in love because they're perfect. And it captures that moment in everyone's life so beautifully. And it also concludes with I will go out on a limb. I will say the single greatest slow clap in the history of cinema.
I mean, many people have called it the Lucas slow clap. So
you know what?
I've heard it said.
There you go.
Which I guess all the whole thing about the perfect and all the thing, I guess it's exactly the kind of movie that made me that poisoned my mind and made me think the wrong things about romance and love. Although I think he doesn't get the girl in the end, right? Like it doesn't work for him. So that's good.
Yeah.
Because that's more realistic about life.
That's the thing.
In real life is really about missed opportunities and
forced approximations. Nice. You know what movie would have made this list harder for me? Have you seen Last American Virgin?
The what?
The Last American Virgin. It's quite good. It's quite good. The lead is some guy who never worked again, and the female lead, the love interest, is the young woman from Better Off Dead, the French.
I love her.
He put his testicles all over me. Right. Yeah. Right. Yes.
It's a problem.
Right.
I'm interested in seeing that now.
Yeah, it's good.
I can't wait till I'm retired so I can just sit around and watch 80s movies till I die.
Yeah, let's retire like tomorrow.
Oh my gosh. Someone else needs to raise these kids. I got things to do.
Right. Moving on.
And I got to watch Lucas. Yes, moving on.
Which is best? 1. Creed.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Continue.
I know, right? 2. Rocky Balboa, Rocky 6. Or 3. Rocky 4. Okay. Of course.
First of all, you said 3 Rocky 4, but that's okay.
I know. Sorry. 1 Creed, 2
No,
Rocky
you were
Balboa.
right. No,
yeah,
just
right.
the way you said it.
Right.
So Rocky IV is ironically great.
Yes. Yes.
And it's important on a cultural level because Rocky wins the Cold War.
That's true. If I can change, and you can change, everybody can change. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yep.
Kid's got like a robot butler. The whole thing's a disaster.
It's a disaster.
It's one of the worst but greatest things ever.
Yes.
Super important for our upbringing.
Yes.
But nevertheless.
He's like above iron. Rocky Balboa, way, I will go so far as to say, way better than it could have been, and maybe than it should have been.
Sure. Still haven't seen it.
It's really good. Like it's really good. Creed is a legit great movie.
Agreed again.
Like
a Creed even. Is that too soon?
no, it's Phil. It's right on time.
You know what? I went and saw Creed with our friend Jeremy, and one of the things that I really loved about Creed. Well, you can tell that Sylvester Stallone allowed someone else to make a movie.
Yeah.
And allowed him to make it his.
Yes.
It didn't have Stallone's prints all over it, although he was in it.
Yes.
So Rocky got to be a character in a movie about someone else.
Yes.
And it was a movie that I really liked. It really felt like a movie for and about and by African Americans that happened to have white people in it.
Yep.
Rather than the other way around.
Yep.
It just felt very black, and like in a way that oftentimes, like in a way that I was surprised a Rocky Balboa movie was allowed to be.
Yes.
And because of that, it was authentic and it worked and it was real. And that was one of the many reasons why. I mean, also just because everyone in it is great.
Everyone is great. To say nothing of it is gorgeously shot and and technically just wonderful.
And I have seven different crushes on the female lead in that movie.
You need to watch Veronica Mars. She's in that for a while.
Sigh.
I know.
Also, shout out to Felicia Rashad.
Oh, God, she's
good to see her.
Yeah, and she's
good to see.
She so makes the best of her limited screen time in that movie.
Stepping out of the Huxtable shadow to make it happen,
which is important at this point.
At this juncture.
At this, yes.
To quote Dana Carvey, pretending to be a different president. It was very prudent at this juncture.
Indeed.
All right. Next up on the Gauntlet list, we still have 4 more to go. Yeah. This Gauntlet is great. It's ridiculous.
Which character would you most like to be?
Oh yeah.
Brantley Foster from Secret of My Success. I love that movie.
Oh, so good.
Alex Rogan from The Last Starfighter. I love that movie.
Never seen it, sadly. Continue. I know, Andy. Hey, let's go through a list. I've seen a lot of movies from the 80s that you haven't seen.
You're right.
Okay?
You're right.
Let me go.
You're right.
Continue. I'm sorry. I got a little defensive there. Hold on. Wait, Andy?
Yeah.
Andy?
Yeah.
I'm back.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Chris Knight from Real Genius.
Chris Knight from Real Genius. For me. But go ahead. What's your choice?
The answer is absolutely Alex Rogan from The Last Starfighter.
I've never seen it.
Okay. Look.
It's going to be really hard for you to convince me that I don't want to be young Val Kilmer. Smarter than anyone in the world.
Uh-huh.
Making lasers.
Do ya?
Go ahead.
Do you want to get teleported to or transported to save the galaxy because you played a video game really well and then you saved the galaxy?
Can I be 100% honest with you?
You want to be young Val Kilmer?
I don't want to be the thing you said at all. That's way too much pressure. Are you kidding me?
Sure.
First of all, I don't even want to be Brantley Foster from Secret of My Success because of just how stressful it was for him to juggle 2 women. Like,
Truth.
That was stressful.
Truth.
And to pretend he was somebody other than he wasn't.
Right.
That movie stressed me out as a child.
Sure.
Like I was like, Michael J. Fox, I watch you for Family Ties and Back to the Future. This movie is stressing me out. He did get to be with Helen, what's her name?
Slater.
Who played Supergirl.
Yes.
Helen Slater?
Yep.
She is a special presence in our 80s upbringing.
Yes.
She's sort of actually, and the reason that it's even worth considering is she's sort of the almost like the I'm trying to think of the right word, Andy. I'm going to mess this up. But like she's sort of like the archetypal 80s presence of femininity for me in
nice.
There's something ethereal.
I like it.
And there's something very ethereal and yet neurotic and very graceful and yet present about her. Or ethereal but present and graceful but neurotic. That's she somehow has this strange
all of these things.
Yes, and is gorgeous but not in a way. So, the gorgeous women of today are so sexualized.
Yes.
And even and most of them voluptuous. And she's this sort of gazelle-y, sort of like when she comes into the scene, you're like, well, there's no way Michael J. Fox gets to talk to her.
Yeah.
Not because she's too sexy, because she's too like otherworldly.
Yeah. She's
There's something like when they picked her to
regal.
play Supergirl, even though Supergirl ended up being a terrible movie. It was like, who do you pick to be the one from another planet?
Right.
It's like,
Clearly.
oh, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
So she makes me almost want to be Brantley Foster, but then he has to deal with there's another woman, and his uncle is very weird and slimy. So
Yep.
Chris Knight, even though I don't even think ends up with the girl, he's the genius.
Sure.
In a real way.
Sure. No.
No.
Here's the deal. I do not have high hopes for the rest of Chris Knight's life. Like, I think he will. He just like he's like the 80s TV. The 80s movie version of the kid from Whiplash.
Are you
Right?
suggesting he peaked too early?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I accept your I accept this possibility, but I say no.
Fair enough.
Niet. 9.
And all I'm gonna say is, if you're Alex Rogan, like, you
I don't
feel
want to save the world.
you feel the pressure, but you come through, because you're the last starfighter.
I don't. Andy, I'm glad we disagree on this. I want you to be the last starfighter, and I want to be the real genius.
Fair enough.
Real Genius was a hugely important movie for me growing up.
I get it. I do.
And Val Kilmer was so glorious. He was everything I wanted to be.
Yeah.
He was a brilliant person
Yep.
beyond all measure, who also was really funny. So far, this is basically a carbon copy of me, but totally and completely comfortable with himself,
Yes. Yes.
which was the thing I couldn't, and slimmer than I ever was. So these were things that I am, which now Val Kilmer, I win, I think. But
yes.
for now, but my goodness.
Yeah.
My goodness. I just, Real Genius was a very important movie for me. And so,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, Chris Knight for sure.
Next question. Which is best? Inner Space. Young Guns.
Ooh.
Short Circuit.
Ooh.
Hit me. What do you got?
Young Guns was my favorite movie for a good period of time. It was, I keep saying this and I feel like I'm a broken record. This is yet another very important movie to understand young Duvall.
Sure.
This was my introduction to the Billy the Kid oeuvre.
Sure.
This was my introduction to Emilio. Emilio Estevez became my favorite actor for a year or two.
Nice.
And I loved Lou Diamond, between La Bamba and this, Lou Diamond Phillips, and then Kiefer Sutherland, who was in Lost Boys and Stand By Me, and then Casey Shamasco was in it, and Dermot Mulrooney was in it, and Charlie Sheen, and Terrence Stamp, and Jack Palance. This movie was so many of the things that I wanted movies to be. It made me fall in love with Westerns. I was young.
Sure.
It made me fall in love with Westerns. It was a bunch of, I know the movie's called Young Guns, a bunch of young guys. Billy the Kid was right along the lines, much like Val Kilmer in Real Genius, this sort of off-kilter, weird, but an exceedingly gifted character. Mm-hmm. So a guy that I wanted to be like in that sense, except for the whole killing and being bad.
Yep.
It just fit all of these. It had themes of loyalty and friendship and connection amongst outcasts, and cool gunfights and knife throwing and a bunch of people doing peyote and like funny humor. Like it had everything I wanted a movie to have. It was for me. And when I found out that the movie, like when I got older and found out that it was not a movie that was actually considered a great movie, like that's when I was like, I don't understand anything. Because I thought it was just the definition of a great movie. Like, Young Guns was one of the best movies ever made.
Sure.
And then it turns out, like, people were like, oh, it's cute. It's hairband, pop boy, a country, Western movie. And I was like,
right.
What? No, it was the greatest movie of all time. What are you people talking about? They tumble down, this trunk tumbles down from the second floor and lands on the ground. And then a guy pops out of the trunk with guns and starts shooting people. And here's the thing. None of it's done. It's all done super seriously. Straight-faced. It was shot like a straight-faced drama. I can't say that. Obviously, my choice is clear. I love Young Guns. I think Short Circuit is fine. I love Ali Sheedy. Steve Guttenberg did a great job. I guess whatever is fine.
Sure.
Inner Space is so gloriously messed up.
Yeah.
And I think about Inner Space more often than I think about a lot of other movies.
Yep.
And Meg Ryan in the 80s, what a presence.
Yeah. Yes.
She was like Top Gun, remember in Top Gun?
Yeah.
I just watched Joe versus the Volcano the other day.
I'm a flabbertigibbet.
Oh my gosh, she's just spectacular.
Yeah.
She's a really incredibly talented actor, and I just and this is just her in it, and Dennis Quaid and Martin Short. Anyways,
The
R.J. Fletcher from UHF, whatever his real name is, doesn't matter.
inimitable Robert Picardo
That's him.
as like the heavy, as like the bad guy. I love it. I love it.
It's just great. It's just great.
Phil,
All right, Young Guns.
I don't think I've ever seen Young Guns.
I'm not mad at you. I want to watch it with you so bad.
Okay.
Young
Done.
Guns 2 isn't very good, but I love it forever.
Okay. Okay.
Andy, can we watch Young Guns 1 and 2 together?
Yes.
Andy, you introduced me to zombies. Can I introduce you to Young Guns?
Phil, I am RSVPing yes.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
My answer here is Inner Space, although I do have affection for Short Circuit, but Inner
Sure.
Space is it's more indelibly weird. And so I think it
is.
has more staying power because and let's not forget that it's weirder than a movie about a sentient robot. So I mean,
Well, that's the thing, is the sentient robot movie, Short Circuit, for those who didn't know, not Young Guns. The sentient robot movie, it's fairly formulaic.
that's true. That's
You know,
true. Yes.
It is what it is.
Yep.
Once you figure out that they decide that the robot becomes sentient, then it's just a matter of playing it out, and then it's just old sort of tropes around military interventionism and
Indeed.
I mean it's basically a remake of Iron Giant, which came out 15 years later.
That's right. If you're gonna give me an '80s movie about a sentient robot, give me Daryl.
Oh,
Huh?
done.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thanks for that.
Is that the same kid that's in Cloak and Dagger?
No.
I think it is.
Nope.
Is it the same kid that's in Neverending Story?
Yes.
Bastion.
Bastion. Yes. Say my name. Oh my god, I'm gonna cry. Okay.
Not me. All right.
Which is worst?
Oh.
Josh,
I'm gonna-
why you got to be all negative? Is it
I
because
didn't
you're a
read it that- Oh my gosh, I didn't read it that way. This is going to be a much harder question now.
is it because you're a Cubs fan? Is that why? Okay.
Oh.
Boom! I brought it back.
Andy,
Recycling it, yes.
Below the belt, that's 2 points. We're going to have to dock you 2 points.
It was worth it. Would do.
Okay.
A+ would do again. Okay.
But again, we're going to have to completely skip the next question. I win.
Which is worst? Which is worst? Dazed and Confused,
Okay.
Breakfast Club,
Okay.
Empire Records.
Okay. I'm going to do that thing I've done before.
Okay.
I've never seen Empire Records.
Okay.
Here's the deal. Based purely on reputation,
Yeah.
that would be my answer.
That's my answer.
Right. Because my understanding of that movie is it's basically just like Liv Tyler and then a bunch of other people and a really great soundtrack for people who like the soundtrack.
Look, it's cute. It's cute. I like it. It's quotable. It's endlessly quotable. But Dazed
Can I
and
talk about
Confused
Dazed
is
and Confused for a second?
Please do. Please do.
I didn't like it when I first saw it.
Okay.
Can I tell you why?
Please.
A, not from Texas.
Sure.
Okay.
Nobody's perfect.
True. And there you go. Which is and I'm not perfect. B, I'm not perfect. It was primarily focused on people getting high and drunk.
True.
Things that I was very sensitive about when that movie came out.
Me too. Me too.
So I was just like, didn't like it. Like I was just like, oh great, a bunch of people that I would never hang out with. That I remember watching this movie like, oh, these are all the people I actively avoid in high school, and
Yep.
it's a movie glorifying them. Well,
Yep.
I'm not interested. I was
Yep.
a very moralistic young lad.
I need to respond to this right now because
Please do.
here's the deal. I didn't see it when it came out in theaters.
Sure, because you were like,
Because I was the same way. Maybe I was less moralistic about it, but I didn't smoke pot. I didn't drink. And I was like,
Right.
why would I watch a movie about that? And then when I first saw it, I was actually a little too old. I think it was after college. I don't think I saw it
Right.
in college.
Right.
And I was like, it was good. It was good. And then it just wouldn't let me go. It just wouldn't let me go. And I was like, oh
Sure.
no, there is so much more here. There's
Yeah.
so much more here.
It happens when you fall in love with a director that you go back and you treat their things differently. You treat other works differently. I mean, I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
I mean, like for instance, I loved Hail Caesar. And some people would say that Hail Caesar was like Coen Brothers light. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know.
Right.
I know that I went in knowing who was making this movie
Yeah.
and just was delighted for an hour and 45 minutes.
Ditto.
So you fell in love with Richard Linklater, and then you went back and saw Dazed and Confused again, and you were like, my guess, I'm speaking for you without you telling me, and it's different when it's different when you know who did it.
It's
I
true.
think.
That's true. Although I have to be honest, when I saw Dazed and Confused the second time, and it was not more than a year, I think the only other Linklater movie I had seen at that point was School of Rock, which is maybe the least Linklater of all Linklater movies, which I love.
Sure.
Which I love.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
that's maybe the only one of his movies you could watch and be like, is that a Richard Linklater movie?
Is that it?
Right.
Can we do the rest of the thing? Can we do the rest of the thing? Okay.
I refuse. Thank you, Josh, for not asking me to choose between Dazed and Confused and Breakfast Club. My answer would be Breakfast Club, but it would hurt a lot. Empire Records is cute. It's cute. It's not in the same. It's not in the same ballpark. It's not. It's like if the Rocky question had been Creed, the first Rocky, and Rocky Balboa. Rocky Balboa is great, but it's not. Come on, guys.
Sure.
You good? Shall we move on to question the last?
One last thing.
Please.
Breakfast Club.
We could do an entire series. We could do. You guys, Second Breakfast Nation, you think we gave you a lot of Star Wars Episode 7 podcasts? We could do
an episode on each character.
Yes.
And then do an episode on all of them together.
Yep.
And then do an episode on the music.
Yep.
Yeah, it is.
It is a glorious, glorious, glorious film.
I saw it for the first time as a freshman in high school, and it had the exact opposite effect on me as Dazed and Confused. I loved it so much that I watched it 13 times in like a month or something stupid.
I saw it. I don't know if I saw it in the theaters, but I saw it very soon thereafter. I was far too young to watch it, and really get all of it. But it actually made me excited to go to high school.
Yeah, because you were like, if I could just be around people that were anything like that, it had that kind of energy, and it made it. It just like, I mean, it's all right from the quote at the beginning of the David Bowie quote. These children that you spit on as they try to change your world. You know, they're not immune. They're immune to your whatever it is. They're quite aware of what they're going through.
Yeah.
Like, it just was like, hey, guess what? These are human beings who are important.
Yes. Yes.
And their reality is important.
And no matter how loving a family you have, no matter how many friends you have as a kid, you're intimately acquainted with the feeling of I am not important, or I am being made to feel like I am not important. And Breakfast Club is...
Or I'm only important because of people's expectations of me, or I'm only important because of what I will be or could be.
Right. I am not important intrinsically. I am important because of external factors and expectations. And it is a surprisingly... It's funny and sweet and good-hearted and surprisingly angry rebuttal to that.
Oh.
I'm going to watch that again.
Glorious.
I'm going to watch that again. I'm going to watch every movie we've talked about as soon as, at once, as soon as we finish this podcast.
Just a bunch of screens.
Yes.
And then
indeed.
Tap it to my veins. Okay.
Last one.
This next one's difficult.
Yes. Which is best?
Oh, and he did this on purpose to be mean.
It's true. Three Amigos.
Yeah.
City Slickers. The Big Lebowski.
I mean, so this is a weird choice because, first of all, this is two 80s movies and a 90s movie.
That's true.
This is two grade school movies and a college movie.
That's true.
It's a weird decision,
yes,
Joshua.
Yeah, you're just...
He basically just took three things that he knows we love.
Yep.
That's not cool.
Nope. But I mean, you know, what do you...
I thought this was going to be an easy gauntlet. I'm really upset about this.
Do you want me to go?
Please, Andy, I can't.
Okay.
I need guidance. I need guidance.
So, as always, it depends on how you define best. And I don't know that I have an answer yet, but so I'm just going to talk through it. Pretty clearly, the answer to if there is such a thing as objective best, the answer is The Big Lebowski. I mean,
Okay.
Yeah. In terms of which movie was most important to me growing up, here's why this question is difficult. Pretty clearly, the best of these movies. I mean, you're not gonna beat the Coen brothers. Not maybe at the very, very, very height of their powers.
It's
awfully
top tier Coen. It's top tier Coen brothers.
but awfully close. I would say it's their best comedy skewed movie. The only one, because I mean Miller's Crossing and Blood Simple and Fargo are different. Not that all of them have comedy in it, but like I would.
I know what you mean. It's a comedy.
Yeah, I would take. I think it's been a while since I've seen this. I think I would take Lebowski over Raising Arizona, which I think is.
You would. No, you would.
You know what I mean?
You would.
Yeah.
And again, that goes back. Raising Arizona in this category would have put them all at that '80s time where
That's
we
right.
were like being formed.
That's right. So that the one that was most important to me growing up was Three Amigos, but the one that seemed like the most complete movie to me was City Slickers, because it's funny.
Also with Helen Slater.
Also with Bruno Kirby.
Oh, beautiful. His monologue on the back of the horse.
Oh,
that was my best. That was my worst day.
Yeah, that was it.
What was your best day? That was also my best day.
Yeah. Well, he starts with that was my best day. He's like, Jesus, that was your best day. What was your worst day? He's like,
same day.
Same day.
When my dad died, I understood that. When my dad died, I understood that for the first time. That a day could be your best and worst, and I don't know how to explain it to someone because I adored my father, and it was not a complex issue in that sense. The idea that somehow it could be a best day, that with the day he left, is hard to explain to someone who hasn't lost a parent.
Sure.
Because it was just awful. But there was something about best and worst combined in that day, and I don't know how to describe it. But it was a day. It was a day.
I appreciate
so that movie taps into so many of those things.
Yeah. You found your finger? Yes. If hate were people, I'd be China.
Andy, I've made up my mind.
Tell me.
I'm picking City Slickers.
I'm so glad.
The Coen brothers are my favorite living filmmakers, and Big Lebowski is a great movie by all accounts.
Yes.
And I am picking City Slickers. With Billy Crystal and Bruno Kirby and Daniel Stern and Helen Slater, David Paymer, Jack Palance.
When in the era when people would non-ironically make Billy Crystal a leading man. You know?
It's just brilliant. It's just...
I'm so glad you said that.
You know what? Here's the deal. Here's why.
So glad.
Here's what. And by the way, I liked Three Amigos growing up.
Yep.
But I fell in love with Three Amigos recently. I've been rewatching it with my daughter.
Okay.
And it is a perfectly crafted 80s comedy.
Sure.
It is Andy. It is perfect.
Yes.
I unabashedly and unregrettingly adore Three Amigos.
Sure.
But City Slickers has so much heart.
So much heart. So much.
And the kind of heart I love. Yes. And Lebowski's Lebowski. It's a movie that will live in infamy in the best sense of the word, not the worst. And people will quote it, and it's important. And Walter Suffolk and the Duke.
Yes.
I love it. I think it's fantastic. It is what it is. It stands alone, and by the definitions of the question, the appropriate answer would be The Big Lebowski. My choice is City Slickers.
Phil, we have come under fire recently for agreeing too much.
Friendly fire, but sure.
No, I hate those people. No. Yeah, that's fair. It's fair. Friendly fire.
To their core.
Right? Those people are going to be disappointed because I completely agree with you.
You already choose. You already chose.
I did, but I chose didn't choose the Big Lebowski.
I thought you did.
I said objectively speaking, but the problem is that Three Amigos was important to me first, and I don't think I saw the Big Lebowski in the theaters. But City Slickers is a movie that I find my mind drifting back to. Like,
If I had to champion a film,
yep,
I wouldn't need to champion Big Lebowski. Other people have it covered.
yep, yes,
I would champion City Slickers all
Yes.
day long. I would
Yes.
champion Three Amigos as well, and I say to everyone, go back and watch Three Amigos.
sure,
It is just there are few broad comedy films like it. It hits on all cylinders. It is just beautiful.
yes, reminiscent of
and I
the best of
almost-
Mel Brooks, and
Yes, and
yes,
I almost want to choose it.
sure,
And the only thing that keeps me from choosing it is the enormous, bloody, gorgeous, generous heart, fraught with neurosis and desire at the
Yes.
center of City Slickers.
yes,
Game
Glorious.
over.
glorious. I love.
You
I
and
love,
I are the same person.
It's true.
You and I are the same person.
Yes,
We
except
could
that,
swap lives and no one would notice.
yeah, except when you swapped into my life and you were watching Lucas, and when I swapped into yours and I was watching Young Guns, people be like, "You haven't seen those before?" But we've talked about
It's true.
it. Yeah.
It's true. Other than that, totally.
Other than that, same person, exactly the same person. I'll give your sermon on Sunday.
Thanks. Don't forget, hate is stronger than love. That's not true.
Right.
That's not true. I said it, but I didn't mean it, people.
Folks,
Just because I said it, don't mean that I meant it.
folks, yet again, we have been a gauntlet has been thrown down, and we have answered the call. We have picked that gauntlet
Picked it
right
up.
the heck back up, and this will bring us to the end of another Second Breakfast podcast. For Phil Duvall, I'm Andy Roth. We are Second Breakfast, and we'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.
Ciao.
The most important meal of the day, second breakfast.